Well, congratulations, Bobby. I'm so excited to talk with you today and a little bit more about your history in education and kind of what this award means to you and what you see coming in the future. So, are you really excited?
I am very excited. Thank you.
Good deal. So, can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you became involved in CTE?
Actually, in high school, I went to school in northern New Jersey and I took just about every FACS class that I could take. And at the time, my guidance counselors really tried to discourage me from going into FACS because they felt like college bound kids and kids that were academically better should not consider careers like that. So I kind of made the decision that that's what I wanted to do. And I looked for a small school and went to school in Virginia. And I've never left here. So I guess Virginia just had really good role models for me. Coming out of college, I had a little rough student teaching experience, but I didn't let that deter me. And it was also very hard to get a job in family and consumer sciences at the time because it seemed like the teachers at that time just never left. They were there. They were career
They enjoyed
people,
it.
and yeah, and they stayed there just forever. And so here in the valley there of Virginia, there weren't any jobs. So I worked in the hotel industry for a while and really enjoyed that. So I was kind of glad when I did get into teaching that I was able to take my program to a more hospitality focus. So that was pretty cool. So I interviewed for my first job and didn't get it. And I was really kind of unqualified for it. It was in a full culinary program, a 2-year program at a tech center. And I was really unqualified for that position. But that interview led me to the second interview, and I actually replaced the teacher who did get the job. So that was kind of neat. And then,
That's perfect.
yeah, and we had a really good connection all these years. And shout out to Deborah Bont. She was a good role model, and she taught in the culinary program, and I had her job, and we just kept in touch over the years and that focus. And then I also had a good role model in the other teacher that was at my school. So she just really encouraged me and got me involved. And yeah, that's where it all began. And I've been at the same school ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, it really does take the people that come alongside us and lead us. It really develops us in our careers. You've had some great accomplishments of your own, though, in your career. Can you tell me about maybe something that you're most proud of and how you achieved that?
Well, I am pretty much the thing that really excites me is that in Virginia a couple years ago, there came a requirement for kids to complete a 2-year CTE concentration before they left high school, and also to finish with a CTE credential test. So I worked really hard at finding what I thought was a good fit for us, but also not just a test that the kids could pass. I wanted a test that the kids could actually use. I wanted a credential that that would make sense for our students here in our community. And we are pretty much a rural community, but we are hospitality and tourism. We have a lot of resorts and hotels and food industry by us. So my kids are working hard on a certified restaurant server credential and a guest services credential. And both of those things I think are useful no matter what the kids go into. College kids need
Yeah.
jobs. A lot of people work in the hospitality industry around us. So I'm really proud of the fact that I've given those tests with a 100% pass rate. So that's one of my things I'm most proud of. But also we've had a lot of success in our career and technical student organization. And it's just really, for me, all about the kids. When the kids have success in what they do, then I feel that I'm successful. I find my satisfaction through my kids.
That's awesome. That's what makes an awesome teacher. That's why you're teacher of the year, helping your students succeed and staying focused on it, bringing real value to their future endeavors. I think that's super important. You've mentioned some of the people that have mentored you and helped you in your life. What advice would you give to a teacher that's facing a challenge in the industry right now, whether that's with enrollment or credentialing? What advice would you give to someone?
Oh my goodness, there's so much advice these days because things are so different than they ever were before. But my best advice would be that you just have to be flexible. You have to find a way to reach kids even when you think it's impossible. And flexibility is so important to that. Every day is different anymore, every day. And there's so much responsibility being put on teachers these days. Everything from social emotional to discipline, and then your own core course that you have to teach. But you just have to find a way to be flexible and then also creative. You've got to find ways to make it learning meaningful and fun for your kids. And I think that's the best advice I can give.
That's great advice, really, to anyone in their career, probably, to be flexible and creative. So I think thinking about that, is that something that you think makes your classes unique because of your flexibility and creativity? What would you say is your secret to success in your own classroom?
Well, that's kind of a hard question to answer because when you're a CTE teacher in a regular high school and not kind of separated out into a technical center, we get all the kids. We're a mixed bag. We get kids that are having trouble in other areas, and we get 9th through 12th graders versus 10th through 12th graders. So we have to be really creative in our instruction because a 9th grader is very different from a 12th grader. So we have to find a way to make it all blend together and to give the kids meaningful experiences. And creativity, as you mentioned, I think is a big part of that. You have to have fun and engaging lessons, and you have to bring kids along. But I think one of the most important things that a CTE teacher can do is get your kids involved in your CTSOs. FCCLA totally changed the way that I teach, and incorporating those things into the everyday classroom and bringing all your kids along in that is super important. And it makes such a difference.
Well, thanks for sharing. I'm sure that's good advice for those that are joining us and watching this video. What would you say? You can hear your passion for CTE and how it really impacts students' lives, and is really functional training for them. But where does your passion for CTE? You said as a student yourself, that's really where your passion for it began. But why is CTE so important?
Well, I think that CTE is super important for every student, even the kids that are going on to college, four-year colleges. We're teaching the skills, the quote unquote soft skills, but the communication and the problem solving and the responsibility and decision making and all of those things are so important to whatever job a student will have in the future. And even in your own family, it's time management and it's money management, and all of those things that we teach are super important no matter what career you're going into. A doctor and a lawyer still need those skills, and as do our kids that go into career focused pathways.
Yep, those really are those transferable skills, those core skills.
Mhm.
So you've talked today about some of the organizations and associations that have supported you and guided you in the development of the way that you teach and the resources for your students. But what do you value most, particularly about ACTE? And what would you say to someone that's considering membership in ACTE?
Oh my goodness. ACTE has given me many opportunities to network with people who are just like me and who are struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. And it's also given me the opportunity to share what I do with other people. And the networking would be the main thing. And I think that's super important for somebody that wants to join. It's finding someone who's sharing similar problems or successes that you are, but also my membership in FCCLA has helped me with, I served on a state committee for Perkins, and all of the resources that ACTE provided along the way helped me to be able to access materials that would help me make better decisions and give better input on those committees. And so I think those things are super important too. And then also the conferences that I have attended have been just fantastic. And the resources that we bring home from them are just invaluable to what we do.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the networking and the resources available through ACTE. And then when you combine that with your experience, it's just an amazing relationship and a huge value to your career for sure. Well, Express Employment Professionals is proud to sponsor this award. We're so excited to have this time to talk with you today, and congratulations on this achievement in your career. I hope you take a moment to celebrate for yourself.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do for ACTE.